Hello Libra, this is your extended reading. So it seems like yes, there's a new door that may instigate your desire to explore something new, something that is yet to be seen or yet to be experienced or even like yet to be co-created. Okay, so there's something that, well, there's a lot of mystery in this part of your reading, but I guess it's coming from, you know, this moon can be like, this very unknown territory that you can, it's almost like exploring a dark room with your eyes shut. It's like there's a lot of trust involved and, trusting your intuition, trusting your senses, your sixth sense, your ability to, you know, see in the dark essentially. But this is something that, because of your recent experience or your recent accomplishment, it's like you have been through some sort of not, I was just, I was going to say like a very troublesome experience, but it's not troublesome actually. It's like just coming through as intense, right? It's like going through this death process, especially like when you're near the end, as you were in the first part, right? It's like you knew that, it's like you put so much into something that you didn't know exactly how it would pan out. Although with the Emperor, it's like you know that you deserve the highest accolade, the highest recognition for everything that you managed to accomplish in these really intense and maybe tough situations or circumstances. It's like you really didn't bail out. It's like you kept on going because it's almost like you knew that there was a door that you could cross over, and then when you close that chapter, that would be ended essentially, right? So you have a lot to be proud of yourself, Libra. That is one thing. But what comes next, it's like from the experience that you had here and from everything that you have built for yourself, it's almost like, remember with all of the fours from the first part, it's almost like each number four, right? Being the Emperor, the major arcana number four, being, the major arcana, it's like the highest step or the highest seat, right? Each of the fours being one step towards this higher position, this higher place. But it's like you had to build, step by step and going through all of this intensity. So with the new found dim light, just this little sparkle of potential, of desire, of willpower, of new beginning that is, being hinted at with the Ace of Wands from the first part. This is where, well, the new door is here with the Two of Wands that is coming later on, your extended. But, because you have learned how to build with integrity each step of your climbing up, right? It's like that you don't have to rush into anything. Although, the inspiration is very compelling, right? But there's something about you, it's not that you're taking it slow. It's almost like you're enjoying the sense of rejuvenation that you allowed yourself to just relax, right? With the Four of Swords from the first part. So, one crucial step, it's not only building or climbing. It's also resting, right? And you knew that, especially at that last moment where you were holding tight a lot, maybe because you were taking it a lot, right? All of that intensity from, climbing those steps. So we're beginning the extended with Page of Cups. And this is you post this night of sleep. So it's interesting because when I put these two cards together, when I was, studying your reading, these two cards came through as beauty sleep. So it's almost like when you feel like you are at home, or when you feel like you are embraced, right? There's a lot of comfort. You go back to this, it's almost like to your infant self, or your relaxed, very innocent self. There is no there's no prejudice, there's no it's interesting because, you know, in contrast to the Emperor, and I'm just being reminded of, you know, the Emperor in the Good Tarot that Sen, usually she mentions the Emperor as being cloaked. So this is very interesting because it's like you're taking on the cloak or the accolade of the Emperor, Libra, but it's only to play the part, you know, in the three-dimensional kind of orchestra, right? Or how things are done, or how this is important as a symbol of recognition, right? In the objective world, right? In the masculine objective world. But when you are acknowledging this other side of your accomplishment, which is much more intuitive and sensitive, it's like you are in the arms of people who love you, of your mother, of people who recognize this innocent self of yours that is like pre any sort of cloaking, right? So this is yours because you rightfully done what you had to do to obtain this place, but your essence is always curious. What I just heard right now, you know, being the Ace of Wands, that is being, you know, this new beginning that is now starting to compel you in a new direction, to explore a new door. It's like there is a little bit of newness, that you are allowing yourself to go back to this innocence, to go back to this, you know, childlike being of yours that is very hungry for new things. But being the Page of Cups, right, especially because the Three of Cups is coming next, there's something that is kept inside your heart. And to me, the heart is like your essence, your truth, your, it's like where everything that is you is, right? It's like this center of power, the center of truth, the center of love. But with the Three of Cups, that is to me the card of creation, right? And co-creation of love, with love, for love. So there's a lot of like, it's not repairing, but because there is a sense of rejuvenation, right? It's almost like now that this chapter is over, it's like, it's almost like you have gone back to your youth, or you have, you know, it's like, you know, going backwards in this aging process, if it makes any sense. So it's like you're feeling young again, you're feeling hungry again, you're feeling like there is this curiosity that is driving you to co-create something that is still like, it's almost like liquid water, right? Depending on the container, like water can take any shape. So, but this is just the water. So it's almost like there's a lot of things, or, you know, the raw material, the raw, but it's not material, right? It's like, I'm just using this word as, you know, reference, but it's like water as this main element, right? That can be shaped, can be, you know, positioned or placed in a certain way with other materials that you're yet to experience. It's like that is in the works, right? But there is this hunger that is coming from this sense of rejuvenation, of maybe, you know, a beauty sleep that you have taken after this really big night of yours, that you have received the sense of, you know, this graduation, or this diploma, or this just the conclusion of something really meaningful to you, Libra. But the interesting thing, you know, what comes after this initial spark of having the substance to co-create something new, and having also the desire to do so, right? And the purity to do so. These two guys came along after the Three of Cups, the Magician and the Knight of Wands. So there's a dialogue occurring here between these two characters. This magician is, it's almost like they are not giving orders, but it's like they are giving some sort of message that this Knight of Wands is supposed to carry on, is supposed to deliver. But it has to do with this Three of Cups, which is this co-creation that it's just starting to, be shaped, or just come to your awareness. That's, the better way to put it, because it's like you don't even know what can be done with it. You just know that you have something that holds an incredible potential, right? Because it's coming from this source of love. So you know that it can only be fruitful. But what the magician is talking about, it's like it's almost like your, not naivety, or just your, yeah, I feel like innocence is the best word. It's like your trust, right? It's like your trust in your heart, even if it's just the beginnings of it, right? Because you have just ended a major chapter. So it's like you're comfortable in being this naive, or being this innocent, or being this sort of like, back to the creation board, or back to, being a student again, because it's like, that there's something that is a little bit beyond what you can see. So it's like, so the magician to me brings a little bit like, I'm receiving this character from the it's like one of the Mickey Mouse characters, like I cannot remember the name in English because I only saw the cartoon when I was a kid in Portuguese, right? Professor Pardal. If you speak Portuguese, maybe you know this character. But it's like, I feel like, I don't know. I don't really, it's like this kind of teacher that comes in to, it's almost like those, Hogwarts teachers that are, specialized in magic, and they are bringing like some sort of mystery about them, but they are very ingenious, and they are very like smart, but they are also very like quirky, and it's like they are a real personality, right? So but they have a lot of tricks, right? And they have some sort of like importance about them, because they are embodying this role of a teacher, right? And since you, Libra, are accepting this newfound fresh role of a student, and you're glad to be in this position again, because you know that you have something that is very valuable. It's like you have already recognized your value, but what you hold now is something that is beyond money, or beyond any kind of physical accomplishment, right? It's like the substance of water, whatever that means. It's like potential of co-creating anything and everything possible. So it's almost like the magician has the formula, or the magician knows how to use the tools, how to find the best container. It's almost like they can read something that you are a little bit less experienced about, right? And so what they're doing in passing on this message to the Knight of Wands, because this Knight of Wands is not you. It's almost like the messenger here, the Knight of Wands, is like the guy that will light up this candle, or that will initiate this spark, right? It's almost like they're responsible to really turn on the light, right? Or turn on the desire, to make you want it, make you want to go after something that is still unknown, still yet to be experienced and experimented with. And this is something that is really amusing to you and very instigating. So I want to say that this magician, in passing on, it's almost like they are the main teacher, and this is like the TA, teacher assistant. Yeah, it's like they are the magician's assistant, right? And so they are going to, it's like they are, well, remember when I was talking about, it's like they're going to light the candle, or they're going to turn on the lights of the room, right? It's like this alchemical room with all of the many containers and different pots and things that are very, you know, mysterious. And since you don't know any better because you are in this very fresh, rejuvenated state, right, Libra? It's like you want to be guided, or you want to be shown the way, you want to be, you know, given the tools or given the formula, which is something that is, again, it's because you are in such a relaxed and relieved state, right? Because maybe the position that you were before was like just demanding a lot of responsibility, because you knew that the place that you were, you know, expected to fulfill, or you wanted to fulfill, and you knew that you deserved this place. It's like it was requiring a lot of seriousness and just, you know, not following the rules. It's like, but, you know, playing square and fair, right? Well, square and fair with all of these fours. If it's not a square, I don't know what it is, right? So, but now you have a triangle, right? Now you have another shape to work with. Now you have a substance in a different kind of maybe molecule that you need a formula that you don't have yet, because you're a student in this new class, right? So with the Two of Wands, it's like the mission of this DA, of this assistant, of the Knight of Wands, it's like, it's not only to light up the room or to light up the candle. It's like their mission is to like show you around, to explain you what it is that there is in this room, or, you know, all of the tools. It's like whatever they said to him, it's like now they're going to pass on to you. So it's almost like this candle, right, that you have received when you closed the door of the Death card, right, in the first part. You had only the candle, but you didn't have yet the way to light it up. So with the Two of Wands, it's like the light is coming from, you know, this magician that is passing it on to this assistant, and then it's lighting up your own candle. So it's almost like, you know, there is a little bit of a hierarchy here, but there's nothing imposing of it. It's almost like it's fun for you to see this, because this is also part of the co-creation, right? It's like they hold something that they're not holding, you know, just for them. It's like they're sharing with this assistant, and this assistant is sharing with you, and so on and so on and so on. So it's not something that is exclusive. It's like something that is supposed to be shared, is supposed to be co-created, and not just created exclusively by the magician. You see what I mean? And this is something that I feel like this is your part. This is, which is really, really awesome, to be honest. With the Five of Cups here, it's like once your candle is lit, right? It's like something that was just beginning to brew, or this initial desire of yours, Libra, that was coming through with this childlike desire to explore, to go on an adventure, to see something new, to experiment something that they have never touched or tried before, right? And this is something, it's like it's very pure. So, you know, to me, the fives are represent, well, this is interesting, right? Because if in the first part we had a lot of, you know, fours, it's like now that we have the 3 and the 5, this is the moment when you're experimenting with new shapes, with new numbers, with new formulas, with new ways to use the same substance, the same element, the same, you know, watery nature of your truth, of your love, of your potential. But it's something that it's like after you have your own light, well, we have the sun, right? So if we're talking about you receiving the light that was passed on to the Knight of Wands, and it was just a little flame, right? Once you take over your spot, it's almost like the co-creation, right? The Three of Cups that was talking about this co-creation. So there are three elements or three people, right? So you being the Page of Cups, then the Magician being the second, and the Knight of Wands being the third. So the three people that are needed to co-create this thing, to reshape and rearrange and reposition this element of water, all of these people have done their part, including you. But you are, because seeing the Magician pass on the information to the Knight of Wands, you were just observing it, like very attentively. But once you have the light, once you receive the formula, once you receive this initial, it's almost like the essential thing to start, right? Because when you take over and it's like you cross this new door, right? If you think of the Two of Wands as, you know, the traditional image of the two sticks or the two wands, right? It's like this is a new doorway that is now opening up once you really take on this new position to apply something that you have received, but with your own contribution, with your own way of shaping it. So because you have all of the curiosity within you, so it's almost like these two, they can only pass on what they already know, but because you are new at this, it's almost like you are the one who's expected to use it differently, to propose something that they haven't done yet, but they have to pass on what they know or their tools in order for you to co-create from what you have inside of your heart, right? So this is what this Five of Cups is talking about. And when it leads straight away to the Sun, it's almost like there is combustion going on. This is so weird because it's almost like, you know, chemistry class or alchemy or, you know, some sort of experiment that you're dealing with a subject, with an object, with a substance that is so multidimensional, right? That even though the formula is the same, just because you are so fresh, you are so rejuvenated, Libra, that you can do, like, with just a tiny flame, you can reproduce the sun. You can, you know, it's not that you're going to create the sun, but it's almost like that. It's like you can create the power of the sun or the brightness of the sun. You know, it's like from just a little bit of light, you can create so much light, so much illumination just by stepping into this curious self that now you are, because of all of the accolades that you have received. And, you know, all of this here in the extended, you're not using what you have accomplished. It's almost like that chapter has ended when you received the honors. What you're now exploring is something entirely different. It's something that hasn't been done or hasn't been experimented with. So you're the perfect one, because it's like this challenge is something that instigates you, right? That opens a new door for you that is it's like experimenting with something that you knew the value of, but you never have experienced the actual potential of it, right? Or the power of co-creating something that you were carrying maybe since you were a child, right? And now that you are rejuvenated and that this spark was just beginning to brew, it's like you are receiving exactly what you need to explore a new thing or a new gift or a new ability that comes from your curiosity. And that it has, like, it's really something, because what I'm seeing, Libra, it's like you're going from, you know, being in this dark room, this very different alchemical room where the source of light that you have is so tiny, is so humble, is so small, right? But with that, that is all that you need to create a new sun or to create a new source of light, right? So this is really something. I don't really know exactly what it means. It's just like very moving and very incredible to you even. It's almost like you're discovering a talent that you didn't know was possible or that was, you know, living inside of you. But it has like this, it's almost like, you know, it's like this combustion. I don't really know how to explain it. I'm seeing it at like a very bright explosion, right? But something that is, it's just, it's almost like, uh, it's almost like this rain of illumination, and I don't even know what that is, like a rain of illumination. But because, yeah, it's coming from the water, but it's like, I don't know, maybe you'll know better than I do right now. So Libra, to end this reading, let's see what the astrological runes have to add as a final guidance for you. Okay, so we have 2 runes. This is interesting. Okay, so the first rune that we have is Capricorn, and the second one is Uranus. And to be honest, I have the feeling that these 2 runes are talking about the first part and the second part. So Capricorn, well, Capricorn, if we think of, you know, the astrological chart, is at the top of the chart because it's the 10th sign. And Capricorn is a very serious, you know, it is compatible. It's not exactly the card that represents the emperor, but it's very comparable in the sense of, you know, the formality that I was seeing, all of the, you know, well, I just heard loyal, but that wasn't about what I was going to say. I was going to say like something that is official, something that is, you know, marked by a ritual or an official ceremony. There's some sort of like, you know, podium that you're being prized with, some sort of recognition or accolade that I mentioned in the first part. So this Capricorn is all about that. It's like, and it's talking about like full maturity, like you have stepped into this full maturity. But here, this second rune that is your, oops, it's upside down. This second rune that is Uranus, this is talking about the curiosity. This is talking about the innovation. This is talking about like having everything that it requires to bring something new with the elements that maybe you had already, but also things that you were given at the right moment, because now you are allowing this change right after this death card that really brought a lot of, you know, big changes and the closure of an old chapter. But this Uranus is talking about like you remembering that childlike self of yours and going back to that fresh state of, you know, just inspiration. Really, it is going to bring you this, it's almost like this new idea, right? This innovation that is going to turn this flame of a candle into the brightness of the sun. So this is only something that Uranus, the creator, the revolutionary, it's like just the avant-garde. Yeah, that is the word, avant-garde, right? It's like being ahead of your time. So this is interesting because it's like you're acknowledging both, right? Both of these sides of you. So this is amazing, Libra. If you resonated with it, I'll be so amazed to hear how it's going on for you, because this was a little bit, you know, it is interesting, but it's also like a very mysterious, the second part. So let me know how it fits for you. And I hope this was insightful, and thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.